Good to have you with us as you've been watching, no doubt, NBC's special coverage. This is now Local 4 News at 5. We say hello from here in our studios in Detroit. I'm Devin Skillian. My partner, Carmen Harlan, is live in Washington. Carmen?
Oh, good evening, Devin. It's been nothing short of extraordinary here in Washington and just an unbelievable experience for all of us. I've been honored and humbled to be a part of it. A sea of people, all races, all walks of life, flooded our nation's capital to witness history. The record-setting crowd was estimated at nearly 2 million people. That's the largest since 1.2 million gathered to see President Johnson. Of course, history was also being made when the country's first African-American officially became the country's 44th president.
Today, I say to you that the challenges we face are real. They are serious and they are many. They will not be met easily or in a short span of time. But know this, America, they will be met. On this day, we gather because we have chosen hope over fear, unity of purpose over conflict and discord. On this day, we come to proclaim an end to the petty grievances and false promises, the recriminations and worn-out dogmas that for far too long have strangled our politics. What is required of us now is a new era of responsibility, a recognition on the part of every American that we have duties to ourselves, our nation, and the world. Duties that we do not grudgingly accept, but rather seize gladly, firm in the knowledge that there is nothing so satisfying to the spirit, so defining of our character, than giving our all to a difficult task. To those leaders around the globe who seek to sow conflict or blame their society's ills on the West, know that your people will judge you on what you can build, not what you destroy. To those who cling to power through corruption and deceit and the silencing of dissent, know that you are on the wrong side of history, but that we will extend a hand if you are willing to unclench your fist.
That was the scene from earlier this afternoon. As of course we mentioned, a record number of people gathered there to hear it in Washington. Without question, not everyone could get the perfect vantage point to see President Obama sworn in, Carmen.
Oh, that's right, Devin. In fact, many of the crowd ended up seeing and hearing the new president on their laptops.
To suggest that our system cannot tolerate too many big plans. Their memories are short.
As one officer told us, it wasn't anything planned. It was simply being, in this case, in the right place at the right time.
We reject as false the choice between our safety and our ideals.
I had a young lady, she came up to me, she saw Obama speaking, she was very upset because she had a purple ticket and could not make it to the festivities. And she said, it would be much greatly appreciated if I can watch it on your computer. Do you mind? And I told her, no, I don't mind. Let me pull the computer out so everybody can look at it. Since we're stuck in the tunnel, 3rd Street tunnel, so I pulled the computer out and I was able to get a good feed, so everyone is watching. And they seem to be pretty pleased that they're in here, not cold. It's not a jumbotron, but at least it's showing a picture.
It was a story we heard from many people with purple tickets for this inauguration. Maybe the tickets were useless, but hearing Obama's inaugural address was what this journey was all about.
There's nothing so satisfying to the spirit.
I'm glad they're happy. Everyone seemed to be pleased so far, so that's a good thing.
And it really was. In fact, all of the officers who are on duty here in Washington, the day started, as you can imagine, very early for them, and more than likely will last, that officer told me, at least for another 18 hours. And Devin, we've got a look at the parade that's still going on here in the nation's capital, and there you can see President Obama. We saw him earlier step out of the motorcade with the First Lady, Michelle Obama, and greet the throngs of people who had lined the parade route just to catch a glimpse of the new president and the First Lady, the first family, that is. And believe me, the wind chill factor here, I know as a Detroiter you think I can brave the cold, but let me tell you, it is not diminishing any of the hopes or the aspirations of the people who are here in Washington. But Devin, it is anything but warm, or warmer than it is in Detroit right there.
But certainly a warmth of spirit that's pretty palpable from this far away, Carmen. And of course, Metro Detroiters were among millions in this world watching America's first African-American president sworn into office today. That was quite a scene you just showed us there inside the tunnel, but that was a scene being played out all over the world.
Oh, let me tell you, you're going to meet some more as our news hour continues. But this morning at Detroit's Charles H. Wright Museum, people gathered to watch the historic inauguration. In fact, the Castech
PIV Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
More than 1 million people celebrating history in our nation's capital with a touch of Motown. From Washington, D.C., all the way here to Metro Detroit, the nation energized by President Barack Obama's moment.
The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to choose our better history, to carry forward that precious gift, that noble idea passed on from generation to generation, the God-given promise that all are equal, all are free, and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
Tonight, the nation embraces the 44th President of the United States, President Barack Obama.
And that's a live look from Washington. The inauguration parade for President Obama continues at this hour as he and so many others in Washington get set for what will be quite a night ahead of inaugural balls going on all over town. Thanks for joining us for Local 4 News at 6.
Good evening, Devin from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital on this exciting day in American history. It was a cold but yet sunny day here in Washington. The crowd here is enormous. The excitement almost unimaginable.
In fact, Carmen, I've been dying to ask you all morning and afternoon, and now that we've gotten into the evening, what was it like being in that crowd?
It wasn't easy getting around, I'll be quite honest with you. We were packed in the Metro, and that was the red line that we were trying, or the blue line we were trying to get to get to the red line. And we even had to get off the Metro, Devin, because someone got hit by one of the trains, and it shut the entire train system down for a while. So we ended up walking to the Capitol. And just being with all the people and hearing all of the stories, we really did need to get off that Metro and really get out and about with a number of Metro Detroiters. In fact, I've got an interesting piece of information for you. President Obama actually became president 5 minutes and 44 seconds before he took the oath of office. After he was sworn in, our new president declared America's many challenges will be met.
For everywhere we look, there is work to be done. The state of our economy calls for action, bold and swift, and we will act. Not only to create new jobs, but to lay a new foundation for growth. We will build the roads and bridges, the electric grids and digital lines that feed our commerce and bind us together. We will restore science to its rightful place and wield technology's wonders to raise healthcare's quality and lower its cost. We will harness the sun and the winds and the soil to fuel our cars and run our factories, and we will transform our schools and colleges and universities to meet the demands of a new age. All this we can do. All this we will do.
His inauguration speech lasted 18 minutes and 10 seconds, and all of today's events cost $177 million.
And let's not even start trying to add up lost productivity today, because work came to a standstill today as the entire nation stopped to listen in. And Carmen, I know you caught up with a young lady from Metro Detroit, had a ticket for the inauguration, but couldn't get in.
Oh, Devin, you know, this was supposed to be a dream come true for her. And for the most part, just getting to Washington was the easiest part of Alaina and her aunt's visit to Barack Obama's inauguration. Aunt Rachel and her niece Alaina began their day at 4:30 this morning. Alaina had done her part in a letter she wrote to Congresswoman Candace Miller. When Miller's office produced 2 tickets, Aunt Rachel escorted her to Washington. No one could have predicted what would happen next.
We are near the purple section, is right down the street here, but they just locked the gates. They're not letting anybody in because one of the metal detectors broke. And they were just turning people away. So all these people that had the tickets were just turned away. I don't know what they're gonna do.
While her aunt tried to help Alaina see the positive side, this 6-year-old wasn't buying it.
I think that it's a really disappointment because we got up, a lot of people got up so early and they got a lot of stuff ready, and then they got turned down, and we all walked a long time, a long ways to get to this, and now we're locked out. We can't get in.
But Alaina was hardly alone. Everywhere we turned, there were people holding purple tickets and hoping against hope that someone would find a way to let them in.
We're still here, and it's great atmosphere, very positive. I mean, this is just awesome to be here, even though, yeah, we'll keep it as a souvenir, and, you know, maybe we'll go watch it on a Jumbotron.
Let me tell you, we were all looking for that Jumbotron, but if it's any consolation to Alaina, we were proud to share her story with you and with those of you back home. I bet that one day Alaina will look back on this and realize that she got closer to most, to the inauguration of Barack Obama.
In fact, Carmen, those purple tickets might end up being quite the souvenir someday, but I can't imagine the kind of nightmare that security had to be today around the perimeter of this many people. It must have really been quite an arduous undertaking.
If you could have only seen the number of people with purple tickets holding them up and chanting, "We have the purple tickets and we want to get in." It was just amazing to see. But it was a sea of people. I can't even begin to tell you about how large this crowd was.
It'll be a subculture, the purple ticket holders in the inaugural. This was the scene, in fact, earlier today. Some interesting moments, in fact, this afternoon during the inauguration. And the earlier parts of the parade. In fact, at several points, President and First Lady got out of the limousine, started walking down the parade route, talking about the security issues that we were talking about. They got out much earlier than they were supposed to, but as you saw, needless to say, the crowd went